wanted to talk about three things, and let me get right into it. The first thing I'd like to talk about are lessons that I've learned. And I would say that this has been an evolution for me. One of the things I want to go over, it's interesting, I was listening to one of my past videos, and I was talking about tips on how to leave one's body. Specifically, I remember saying that I don't really rely on visualization. And visualization has never been a thing for me. I've never been a person who necessarily visualized things. But over time, I've evolved, and I've realized that I don't know that you can say that one specific thing works all the time. I think for me, the lesson has been and will always be to remain open. Always remain open to new things and learning things. One of the things I've learned, of course, and something that I have talked about with you has been these visualizations that I have specifically created for myself. The first being the one where I see my third eye. And when I picture my third eye, I see it lighting up. For me, when I see that third eye light up, the specific color of that light is a golden light. I don't know if I've ever really mentioned that before, but I'm mentioning it now. It is a golden light that I imagine when I see my third eye lighting up. So that's one. The other is the sort of rope technique, but not the rope technique that many of you may be thinking about when I say that. It's not really the rope technique, but honestly, it is specifically me holding on to a white rope. And again, I want to specify to you that the color of the rope is white that I'm holding on to. And I'm standing on a cliff. And basically, it is a reminder to me that before I fall into sleep, as soon as I arrive in that in-between state, I will let go of that rope and head right in to whatever the experience is going to be, whether it's going to be astral projection or I'm going to do beyond body, going into a different reality per se, anything like that. That is how I will use that technique. Something I was working on today and this morning, and by the way, I may not talk about this, but I am in my mind constantly working on different things, imagining different things, coming up with different things, being creative, doing some of the things I ask that you do, that you be creative within yourself, that you take the power. Because this is so very important. This is what I've been trying to stress to you this whole time. You have the power. I will say that over and over and over again. Do not allow anyone on the internet or otherwise to tell you that the only way you're going to achieve astral projection or any of these other things is through them. No one can tell you that. You have the power. You are in control. And perhaps this is why these things are happening to me in the way they're happening, where I'm coming up with these different things kind of on my own. But one of the things specifically, another thing that I kind of thought about this morning was, so I've been trying to achieve certain destinations. I don't even want to talk about the destinations until I get there. And I want to be open, of course, to going to places, having my guide my guides take me to places, but I also want to experiment and see if I can go to specific places on my own. And one of the things that I've experimented with is this. And again, as I give this out there to you, all of you, you can take this and try this if you'd like. See if it works. If it works for you. If it doesn't, then discard it. But if it does, hey, you're more than welcome to use it. That's why I am putting it out there for you. But the technique that I am thinking of specifically or thinking about was I would take whatever that destination is, whether it be going to, I don't know, another world, going to someplace specific. I don't know, you could take a country perhaps, but wherever you would like to journey to. I picture that idea as sort of a ball of light. You can almost think of, I'm sure you've seen before, this image of a light bulb when you come up with an idea. I guess you could kind of think about it that way. The idea light above your head, or the light bulb above your head lights up. But I take that ball of light and I guess in my thoughts, I shrink it down until it's a little point of light. And then I send it out into space. I send it out into the universe. And then I don't think about it. And in my head, I'm thinking this. I'm thinking, okay, I'm putting it out there. So if I put it out there and I trust that it's out there, I'm going to, on my next experience this thing because I put it out literally into the universe. So it's something that I was working on this morning. I haven't confirmed specifically that this works yet. I'm still working on it. This is sort of a work in progress, but I wanted to put it out there for you. Perhaps it could work for someone that's listening to me right now. This morning, let me be, again, transparent with you. I like to be transparent with you because I want you to know that even for me, someone who's been doing this for quite some time, and I've got a pretty good ability to do this. Even for myself, I do have difficulties still. Even though I succeed over and over again, which is wonderful. But then sometimes I don't. This morning, and I had been trying kind of yesterday a few times. I just hadn't been able to get there. I just kept falling asleep. Perhaps I just needed to sleep. And that's the funny thing. Sometimes it's just my body needs to rest. I need to sleep. And, perhaps I just need to rest that part of me that goes out and does these experiences. One of the things I've thought about with this is that I don't think the actual expanded part of me, the spirit being part of me, necessarily needs the rest. It is eternal and infinite, and the energy is forever. But for me, my body, my mentality, my mind needs the rest from seeing whatever it sees. I mean, I would imagine that there's work there because it is actually seeing these things and attempting to interpret them, right? Things that it would normally not see. And I think that does need rest. The mind going out there on these adventures, it does need some time to recover, to recuperate. So that's really what I think about it. But so this morning, I had finally felt it coming on, and I remember I was like in my head, I'm like, okay, here it comes. I don't always know exactly. It's funny. I want to make sure that I preface this by saying I don't always know when it's coming, when the energy is coming. There are times, many times, actually a majority of the time, when I experience the beyond body, that I can feel this wave of energy coming. And then there are other times and other ways that I travel into the beyond body. This time I could feel a wave of energy coming on, I should say it that way. And I knew it was coming. It is one of my favorite ways to go into the beyond body. And when it hit, I felt myself in motion at a lower angle, moving downward. Sometimes I feel myself moving in at different angles, different positions. This time I felt myself in motion downward, and it didn't last for very long. Then I felt myself turned 180 degrees, I believe, and then I went downward. Now, the one problem that I had with this specific experience, and I'm realizing this now, is that I was trying to open my third eye too early on. Because I remember when I opened it, I think I was still in motion or still not quite in my destination. I hadn't quite reached it yet because I could see a darkness, almost like a tunnel, and in the distance, I saw sort of it almost looked spherical to me in the distance, this light, but then I could see an opening, almost like a patio or something. I'm not sure what I could see, but it was still too far away. I could see that if I had just allowed myself to relax a little longer and allowed the motion to go a little longer, actually, I should say that I would have reached my destination and gotten there. But as soon as this happened, I was only looking at this little point or this spherical kind of point of light just for a little while, and then it was over. I opened my eyes and I wasn't able to arrive there. If I had, I obviously would have been doing an entire video on my experience, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get quite there this morning. So that happened as well. And again, I always share this with you. I always share this with you to let you know that I struggle at times. I do. I struggle to get to my destinations. I am impatient even when I ask you to be patient. I know. I always say, be patient, be patient. Sometimes I'm not patient. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I just want to get there. So I think in a way, I'm also saying, hey, I understand when you reach that vibrational stage, you get excited and you want to do it, and then it stops and you get frustrated. I can understand you going, goodness, I was so close. I was so close to getting there, and then suddenly, it ended. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about, spirit beings and hearing spirit beings, listening to spirit beings. This is something I've talked about in a previous episode or so, just mentioning it, that this has been something that's been happening to me. A part of my development, a part of my evolution is being able to listen to spirit beings. It's something that I've been able to access. I've been doing it more and more. A night or so ago, I could hear a few things. Again, I'm still hearing just little snippets, little, words here, little things there. I remember last night, early in the morning, I believe it was, I heard someone say, out there in space, more than likely a spirit being, say, I'm from the Twin Cities. I remember the Twin Cities, which is Minnesota. I didn't hear anything else after that. That was it. Done. Then, a little bit later, I heard a more complete thing, which I'm hoping that this spirit being, whoever it is, has moved on and is okay. The spirit being didn't necessarily tell me his name, although I think he may have mentioned John, or maybe it was Michael. I'm not sure 100%, but he said he was 24 years old. He said that he was in a passenger in a vehicle and there was an accident, a car accident. And I believe in that car accident that he died. I heard him. And I think I was just asking him questions, but in the end, I remember him saying something like, "You're awesome." Something like that. I don't know. It may have been a younger person, but after that, I got the sense that he had moved on. Perhaps he had just died, passed. Maybe he'd had the accident, maybe the accident had just occurred and he was in the process of moving on, and somehow, some way we touched base. We connected for just a few moments. I wish that spirit being well, I truly do. And I'm sure that he's gotten to where he needs to be, where he wants to be. So I definitely wanted to mention that. And thirdly, I wanted to talk about the fact that I have now officially crossed 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to each and every one of you that has subscribed to me. I am truly, truly grateful for all of you. One of the last things I wanted to say is I don't consider my subscribers to be followers. I really, truly don't. I know some people do. You know, in different social media platforms, they call them followers. I would say that for me, I see you walking with me, not following with me, shoulder to shoulder. That's how I picture it. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. Thank you so much for subscribing and having faith in me. And until next time, take care.